All right, I got the wonderful John Cooper. I'm at my home gym. We're here at West Coast Muscle in the fantastic Yuba City. I know, no one's ever heard of it. That's the way it goes. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do is just a little core war. So it's a simple exercise. And what we're gonna do, this is great for warm-up, just to kind of get the fun factor put into the workout. So what it is you're gonna stand facing your partner, or if you're a trainer, stand facing your client. Remember, they're your client, so try not to hurt anybody. And all it is hands facing each other, and then we're simply just going to attack the hands. So as we move, we either together or we move. And so the idea is that if you hit, you're trying to knock the person off balance. So I can hit him, try to push him over, and as I try to push him over, if he goes back, he has to use the front musculature to decelerate that. So it's the anterior system. And if he moves as I go to hit him and I go forward, then I have to use the posterior. So it's a way that you can start getting the whole functional chain of tissue to work and to kind of warm up as well as have some fun. Now you can vary it, so we can use one hand and use opposite hands. So we can do the same thing, and then you have to rotate. So the idea is that if he moves or if I bent or twisted, I have to decelerate that using a spiral line. So using a rotational component to the fascia, so in order to balance myself, or conversely, the posterior aspect, if I have to decelerate leaning forward. So just some simple ways to vary it. Okay, now what we'll do is we're going to play another little game. This is going to be warding. So we're going to do some warding. I'll have John take that. Actually, John, why don't you come back this way, and I'll come forward. All right, so now what we do is, using a piece of tubing, my partner and I, we can actually do some stuff. So if you're a client, you can still be engaged, or if you're a trainer, you can still be engaged with your client as well. So from here, we can start close to make it easier, we can get it farther away. We can go up high, we can go down low, we can change the position of the handle, and then simply we go up onto one foot, and on one foot, now we can actually move the other leg. So we can move it out, we can move it back, we can turn and rotate the hips, we can turn and come across the hips, so we can do any pattern we so choose. The key is that the handle doesn't start to give, you don't start to give way to the direction resistance or to the load. You have to maintain that tension against that. And then we can start getting faster, so we can start changing the position, we can start moving and hopping, or you can start jumping and having to maintain that. So there's a whole progression scheme that you can use with that particular exercise. So give it a shot and try that, and we'll do some other ones as well. So now one of the other ones, thanks John. So now one of the other exercises that we can do is just some dumbbell lateral shoulder work. And so if you're holding a couple of dumbbells, let me grab a couple. Couple of dumbbells. You can use the big beefy ones, but you may want to try it first without them. So you can go lateral with your shoulder press. So you can go out this way. Now as you go out, it changes the force impact on the shoulder versus up. So this is much more difficult. So you want to go lighter. But you can also bring the hips into it. So you're using the lateral component with the hips. So as you go lateral, you start getting more of the lateral muscular chain, myofascial chain through that. Now I can change the speed, I can change the range, I can do all that. I can also go from a static position and start stepping forward and out. So I can get a sagittal plane step with lateral motion. I can step back and do the same thing. So I can step back and do that. All right, I can step out and step out and step out. Okay, I can shuffle and do it. So we can change how we utilize just by the speed of motion, the range of motion. Now I'm going to do one more exercise, so I got to grab my tool real quick, and we're going to call that just kind of a kayaking or a rowing exercise. So just a little different twist to exercises. So stay right there. Let me go grab my tool. Okay, so now we have a row. So I can do an overhand grip, or I can do an underhand grip. So for the first one, I'll do an overhand grip, and it's simply rowing like a kayak. Okay? So you're rowing, rowing, rowing. And I can stay in close and row here, or I can make it a bigger range of motion. All right? I can go the other way, so I can scoop the bar away from me. I can stay in close, or I can move farther away. I can use my legs to move in, or I can change my stance. So I can row here, across the stance, or here in a stride stance. I can go a wide stance and swerve and weave back and forth. So it's just a rowing exercise. It's a great core workout, and these are just total body movements that you can utilize that don't have a focal or emphasis on certain muscles per se, as they do on the chains of muscles, just to create better motion. Thanks.